Hi everyone, welcome back to another session of Paleo Freedom, and today we're talking about a really touchy subject. So first of all, before I talk about this subject, I want you to know that when I make this recommendation to you, which is no drugs and no alcohol whatsoever as you go through the process of paleo recovery, and you'll see the detailed discussion of that at paleofreedom.com. Just go to the page that says no drugs, and then look at the research associated with it as well. So I side with Brené Brown, who says that drugs numb, and numbing numbs everything. And if we believe completely in our thesis, well, before I go further, let me say this. Don't listen to this video and then stop taking whatever medicine you might be prescribed, particularly if they're serotonin uptake inhibitors. So if a medical doctor or psychiatrist has prescribed to you that you should be taking medicine for depression, anxiety, trauma, do not stop taking your medicine until you have an appointment with them and you sit and discuss the fact that you want to stop taking your medicine, and then they will put you on a regimen so that you can get off the drugs that you're on. Quickly stopping prescribed medicines for mental health issues is very, very, very dangerous and can increase your risk for suicide or highly traumatic events. So do not, under any circumstance, stop taking drugs until you've talked to your doctor and they've given you a regimen and a path and a methodology to quit taking them. I'm going to repeat that again at the end of this video to make sure that everybody hears it, but that's really, really critical, and I hope you're hearing that and understanding that. So again, Brené Brown says numbing numbs everything, and that's right. Our central thesis in Paleo Freedom on how you heal your body after trauma is that trauma is a natural response, and that healing from trauma is a complete and natural response as well. And so in the same way that an external stimulation has caused us to have this trauma response of increasing cortisol and adrenaline, and also decreasing serotonin, GABA, and dopamine, which has left us with this constant feeling of uneasiness and anxiety and pain and suffering, which then oftentimes leads people to do things like drink to excess, use illegal drugs, use legal drugs, try to get supplements that help them feel better, engage in risky sexual behavior, make poor life choices, have high anxiety, high stress levels, job losses, etc. All of those things, those negative things which happen, also happen in the reverse. And so what happens is, in the same way that our body is naturally responding to that external stimulus, if we leave our body clean and pure, and that means from no outside chemicals or no outside destructive elements, and we allow ourselves to continuously give our body stimulation which tells it that it's okay, our body will move from this perfectly natural stress imbalance back to its natural balance of trauma being gone and everything's okay. We know that's what the body will naturally do, because to be in a constant state of trauma, or in a constant state of stress, or in a constant anxious response is not conducive to a happy, long life. Because if you're paranoid and you're freaked out, you're not going to go out and hunt, and you're not going to go out and plant seeds, and you're not going to protect your family. Now, in the modern world, that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, but we have to keep in mind that there are at least hundreds of generations, if not thousands of generations of humans that came before us, and the most important thing that 99% of them did was to plant seeds and to harvest crops and to kill animals and eat those animals and provide safe places for their children. That's just the way it worked. And so we have been programmed after decades and decades and decades and thousands of generations to have a natural positive response to trauma, which enables us to go back to being strong survivors. And so what we need to do is make sure that we're taking the actions and involving ourselves in the type of situations that will stimulate that natural response. We can't get that stimulation. We can't have those messages sent with a clearer message if we are interfering with that message receiving capability with drugs. Stimulating serotonin uptake and stimulating serotonin levels in our brains with chemicals does nothing to get our body into the long-term state of creating the serotonin on its own. We have to find a way to do that naturally. And so if you look at the 15 things to do at Paleo Freedom, those things will put you on your path to recovery. They will tell your body to decrease cortisol. They will tell your body to lighten up on the adrenaline level, that kind of hypervigilant, anxious level that you're feeling. They will also tell your body that it's safe to increase its serotonin and dopamine and GABA. All of those things which give you a sense of peaceful feelings. So I highly encourage you to follow a path on your paleo recovery where you're not using drugs at all, and that includes alcohol, by the way. So in fact, if you're feeling that you're still you're feeling the effects of trauma and anxiety and stress, and I don't know why you'd be watching this video if you weren't, then really you shouldn't be doing any drinking at all and taking any kind of medical drugs which would have an effect on your brain. Now, I don't like hearing that either, because when I've been in stress or I've been in anxiety and I've been in difficult times, being able to have a cocktail at night to take the edge off, or 2 to numb the brain, or 3 to forget about things altogether, really feels good. And in the moment, feels fabulous. But what we're doing when we do that, besides the chemical imbalance, is we're checking out of the most important thing, which is the messaging that we're trying to give ourselves, that everything is okay, everything's all right. We don't have to be in this kind of continued stress response. So that's the message, no drugs. And if you have a day where you haven't taken drugs and you haven't done any alcohol, that day is worth 2 points on our scoring system at Paleo Freedom. If you remember our scoring system, Paleo Freedom, you want to get a minimum of 10 points every day, and you want to shoot for a 15-point day. And not doing any drugs and not doing any alcohol, that immediately scores it as a 2-point day for you. So again, I'm going to reiterate, if you are taking any medicine right now, if you're habitually using drugs, alcohol, marijuana, or if you've been prescribed medicine by a doctor or a psychiatrist, do not stop taking them immediately. Call your physician, explain the situation. Hopefully it's the same physician that prescribed the medicine to you. But it could be that you're using marijuana heavily to deal with your post-traumatic stress, or you're using a lot of alcohol. In either case, call your physician. Tell them what's going on, give them the background, and then tell them you want to go drug-free or alcohol-free, and ask them to put you on a path where you can get off your prescribed medicines or get off your unprescribed medicines. And then they'll prescribe for you a safe, logical path that you can use to get drug-free and alcohol-free. As Brené Brown says, I'll repeat it again, numbing numbs everything. We don't want to numb here. We want to have a natural response, because we're going to give, if we follow the Paleo Freedom path to recovery, we're going to give our bodies a constant messaging about everything being okay, a constant reinforcement that things are all right, things are okay, and we can naturally get back into balance and stop this trauma response that we're having, this heightened level of anxiety, stress. So thank you very much. I know this is kind of a tough topic for some people. For other people, it's no big deal. But for some people, it's like, whoa, I really need to smoke a joint 2 or 3 times a day, or I vape marijuana 2 or 3 times a day, and that's really helping me get through this. The short answer is, I get that, I understand it, and I understand how it can help in the short term. The long-term answer is it's not helping you at all. It's just numbing your brain, and it's not helping you send the right messages that everything is okay, and that you can recover, and that you can have a healthy life now. And we need to clear that fog out and be able to communicate that message directly to our body, and we can't do that if you're taking drugs. All right, I love you guys. I hope you're on a good path. Keep going to Paleo Freedom. If you can share this with anybody, I'd really appreciate it. Keep reading the research. Go out there, people are finding additional research that supports what we're saying. Sometimes people will send us some research that calls into question some of the things that we're saying, and you know, this is an open forum, so I'd love to hear anything you've got. And I thank you guys also for the suggestions of additional things. People have sent us additional research on natural things that you can do to push down the trauma response. And we're going to add those into our 15 do's. So our 15 do's is probably going to morph into something like 20 to 25 do's, things that you can do that will help you. And then you just got to use that scoring method every day. Make sure you're at least getting 10 points, hopefully 15, but at least get 10 points. Then you stick on that path, follow it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and you'll be shocked, absolutely shocked at how much you've healed and how much you've recovered from your trauma response. All right, have a great day, guys. All right, love you. Bye.